Revealed, a young pregnant nurse's heartwarming act of kindness leads to a life-changing fortune. In the heart of Maple Grove, a small Midwestern town, lived Jenna, a 27-year-old nurse with a heart as big as the open sky. But her world spun in a different direction when she discovered she was pregnant. The joyous news was overshadowed by the weight of expectation from her doting family, all counting on her to make her dreams come true. Each shift at the local hospital, she poured her heart into caring for patients who reminded her of her father, a retired veteran whose struggles clawed at her heart. The memories of a man who fought for their freedoms lingered in her mind, fueling her compassion for those in need. Yet, in the cozy embrace of her hometown, she found solace in a secret act of love. Jenna would spend her late nights preparing homemade meals, additional servings, a little extra love, then deliver them anonymously to families facing hardship. Each bowl of soup, every casserole, was packed with a warmth that transcended the food itself. She could almost feel their gratitude touching her heart as she left meals on doorsteps. It was her silent rebellion against pride, a way to support her neighbors without imposing on their pride. But as the bills piled up and her own family home threatened to slip through her fingers, Jenna felt a tightness in her chest. The thought of her future child growing up without the stability she had always known shook her to the core. Could she really provide? Fear grabbed hold, making each day a battle between hope and despair. It felt like the walls were closing in, soft whispers of doubt echoing in her mind. One evening, she sat beside a patient, a veteran who had fought demons far beyond the battlefield. Their conversation struck a chord deep within her. This man, proud yet broken, rekindled her belief in resilience. As he spoke of sacrifices made and dreams deferred, she realized that her own challenges paled in comparison to his but were still undeniably real. Jenna promised herself she would do more. She would make a difference not just in her small acts of kindness but in a bigger way. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Jenna poured every ounce of energy into her commitment to others, the impossible became a reality. Just when she felt all hopes slipping away, the community gathered in an overwhelming show of support. They kicked off a crowdfunding initiative, their way of showing love to the woman who had always been there for them. A heartfelt fundraiser filled the hall with laughter, happy tears, and the clinking of cups, a testament of unity in the face of adversity. Yet, amid the joy, doubts gnawed at her. Was she worthy of this support? Each smile in the crowd felt like a mirror reflecting her insecurities. She longed for acceptance, yet the vulnerability weighed heavily on her heart. As Jenna held her breath, watching this community rally behind her, a thought anchored itself in her mind. True fortune isn't found in wealth, but in love, support, and the bonds of family. Standing at the intersection of fear and hope, Jenna gazed out her window, heart racing. What did the future hold for her child, her community? Would she be brave enough to embrace the very love that could change everything? The wind brushed gently against Jenna's face as she stood at the window, her heart a wild drum echoing through the silence of her room. Memories of laughter from the fundraiser swirled in her mind, the warmth of support wrapping around her like a soft quilt. But just beneath the surface, anxiety churned. What if this was all just fleeting? What if tomorrow brought the same cold reality of bills and uncertainty? With a deep breath, she turned away from the window. She needed to focus. The sun had set, and a new day was on the horizon, filled with promises yet unfulfilled. She was tired but determined. It was time to harness that feeling of unity and convert it into something tangible, something that would last. As night fell over Maple Grove, Jenna sat at her kitchen table surrounded by a mountain of donation envelopes and post-its filled with ideas. Ideas that sparked hope. Could she organize a community event, something bigger than the fundraiser? A health fair perhaps, offering free checkups and wellness tips to those who needed it most? She felt excitement tingle at the thought. The town had rallied for her. Now, it was her turn to give back. Imagining the event, her heart raced. The space could be filled with tables covered in checkered cloth, local health practitioners donating their time and expertise, and families savoring homemade meals as laughter bounced off the walls. She could already see it in her mind, a gathering of hearts, one more time. But doubt persisted, creeping into her thoughts like weeds in a garden. Who would help? Would local businesses come forward? What if no one showed up? Yet, she shook those negative feelings away. The community had rallied around her. This was her chance to bring them together in a meaningful way. The next morning, Jenna grabbed her phone. She texted the few people she trusted most, outlining her plan. "I want to host a health fair," she typed, her finger hovering over the send button. Heart pounding, she pressed send. The first step was taken. One by one, the replies came pouring in. Yes, yes, yes. An overwhelming wave of enthusiasm washed over her. Friends who could offer medical advice, local chefs who would prepare healthy meals, and even a yoga instructor who promised to lead gentle classes. As enthusiasm ignited, Jenna felt a spark within her too. Perhaps this was her purpose, a chance to spread the love she had so deeply received. Days turned into chaotic excitement. Flyers fluttered around town like butterflies, and buzz filled the air. A date was set, and the once silent dreams began to crystallize. She busily organized logistics, reaching out to everyone she could think of. Each answer was a thread weaving a tapestry of community commitment she had longed for. It was more than just an event. It was a life ring thrown out to neighbors who thought they were sinking alone, yet beneath the excitement, fear lingered. What if she failed? She shook her head, pushing away the thoughts that refused to fade. Every moment spent planning was a testament to her faith in a community that had already given her so much. As the day approached, anticipation built like a crescendo. Jenna glanced at herself in the mirror. She felt different, brimming with something wholly new, a determination rooted in hope rather than fear. But just as everything seemed to coalesce into something beautiful, she received an unexpected call that shattered her newfound joy. It was from the hospital she worked at, and the news they delivered set her heart racing in a different rhythm. "Miss Jenna, we need to talk about something urgent." What could it be? The question raced through her mind, pulling her focus and shaking her resolve, and just like that, in a whirlwind of hope and fear, Jenna was about to face her greatest challenge yet. What awaited her in that hospital meeting could change everything. Jenna's hand trembled slightly as she ended the call. The urgency in the nurse's voice echoed in her mind like a siren's wail. She dropped into a chair, her heart racing, blood rushing in her ears. What could they possibly need to talk to her about? A myriad of dreadful scenarios flashed through her mind. She willed herself to breathe, to ground herself in the moment. "Stay calm," she muttered under her breath, reminding herself that no matter what, she had come this far. The fundraiser, the health fair, it had all been about helping others, finding strength in community. But still, anxiety coiled in her stomach. Last week, everything felt light, fluttering like those flyers she'd dispersed around town. Now, doubt morphed into shadows in the corners of her mind. If only she could have one more moment of clarity. She made her way to the hospital, the familiar sterile smell hitting her the moment she walked through the sliding doors. Yet, instead of comfort, it felt suffocating. Each step down the corridor echoed louder as her pulse quickened. What did they want? As she entered the meeting room, she noticed a group of faces: her supervisor, the HR head, and a couple of doctors, looking unusually serious. The table was cluttered with paperwork. Jenna's breath caught in her throat. "Thank you for coming so quickly," her supervisor started, glancing at the others somberly. Jenna felt the weight of their gazes. "We've just revealed some troubling budget cuts." The words blurred for a moment, as her world crashed down. Budget cuts? They couldn't be serious. Her heart sank. Those cuts could impact staffing, hours, even the charity initiatives she had been a part of. And well, her supervisor continued, there will be layoffs. "We're sorry to say that your position is on the line." Jenna's heart fell further, feeling like it was dragging her down into an abyss. "What?" she whispered. I've just started this health fair project. Everyone is counting on me. We know, Jenna. And that's why we want to support you. We believe in your vision. You have the community's backing, which is compelling. We'd like you to lead this health fair. She paused, but it would be as a contractor, not as a full-time employee. Contractor? Meaning no benefits. No security. Anxiety gripped her throat. I can't take that chance, she stammered, glancing at the faces around her. They looked sympathetic but resolute. I have bills. I can't risk it. There's more, one of the seated doctors said, leaning forward. We've talked about fundraising options. If you go forward with the health fair, we think there's potential for significant sponsorship from local businesses. Sponsorship? Hope sparked just a little, but it was overshadowed by fear. A health fair might save her, but if it flopped, but Jenna, we need someone who has that passion, who can transform this community event into something remarkable, her supervisor urged. You've already shown you can rally support. Waves of conflicting emotions crashed through her. What had started as a light merely illuminating her hopes was now an overwhelming tempest. Could she find that light again, even in such daunting uncertainty? The potential of leading the fair flickered like a candle in a storm. She had envisioned it thriving, not just for her but for countless families in need. Families like hers. But was that enough? As she stood there, struck with indecision, the walls of the hospital felt like they were closing in. Would she emerge to embrace the chaos ahead? The stark contrast between hope and despair blurred into one question. What would she choose to pursue, the safety of her current job or the chance to truly make a difference, even if it meant facing the storm alone? And just as the weight of that decision sank in, her phone buzzed, shattering her thoughts. The name flashing on the screen sent a jolt through her. It was a message from one of the local chefs she had contacted for the health fair. Can't wait to meet you. I have something big to share. What could it be? Jenna could hardly breathe as the storm inside her raged on. The choice loomed larger than ever, and with it, the realization that perhaps her call to the community was just beginning. Jenna stared at her phone, heart pounding as she reread the message. Something big? Her anticipations collided with the uncertainty still swirling in her head. What if this chef had the key to making the health fair a success? Or would it just be another disappointment piled on top of everything else? Taking a deep breath, she responded quickly, I can't wait to hear. When can we meet? As soon as she hit send, the flutter in her stomach returned, a mixture of hope and anxiety. Maybe this was the sign she needed to push her forward. Leaving the hospital meeting, Jenna clutched her handbag tightly. Outside, the sun shone brightly, contrasting her thoughts with its warmth. She walked toward her car, the weight of the world still on her shoulders. Each step felt heavy. The spotlight of her dreams and the shadows of her fears danced around her, a chaotic performance she just wanted to end. In the parking lot, she slumped into the driver's seat, adrenaline still pulsing through her. She needed to find clarity, a path forward that didn't make her feel like she was choosing between security and purpose. All she wanted was to help the community. To see people thrive. Was that too much to ask? Fingers tapping nervously on the steering wheel, Jenna began to brainstorm how to make this health fair a community event. The preparations, from engaging vendors to organizing workshops, flashed across her mind like a montage. She could do it even if it felt impossible right now. But would anyone support her? Would they come? Her phone buzzed again, jolting her from her thoughts. This time it was a call from her best friend, Mia. Jenna, I saw your post about the health fair. What's going on? How did the meeting go? Mia's voice was lively and infectious. Jenna sighed, torn between optimism and dread. It's complicated. I'm probably going to lose my job. But they want me to run the fair as a contractor with no benefits. I don't know, Mia. It's so risky. Mia paused, a heavy silence hanging between them. But isn't this your chance? To really make a change? You've always talked about wanting communities to come together. What if this is it? A knot tightened in Jenna's stomach. She had always admired Mia's ability to see the silver lining in the cloudiest moments, but this was different. How could she take such a leap with no safety net? But what if I fail? She whispered, her vulnerability spilling out. What if no one shows up? What if I can't raise the funds? Then you pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and try again. But you have to try first, Jenna. Don't overthink this. You have a passion. Use it. Jenna's heart fluttered at her friend's words, each one igniting embers of determination within her. Could she actually take that leap? It felt terrifying, but was it anything worthwhile a little scary? I'll give you a call later, Jenna replied, feeling a rush of warmth flooding through her. Thanks, Mia. She ended the call, fired up with a new resolve. Maybe she could reach out to more cooks like the chef who texted her. Maybe there were local businesses waiting for an opportunity to help. Her phone vibrated again, snapping her from her thoughts. It was a response from the chef. Let us meet at the Olive Branch Cafe tomorrow at noon. Trust me, you'll want to hear this. What were the odds? Everything felt like it was aligning as she sat there, fueled by her doubts and dreams. Tomorrow would be pivotal. Jenna tightened her grip on the steering wheel, her heart beating faster as determination sent a surge through her. She could do this. She could gather her strength and face the storm. But how would she respond to the inevitable challenges lurking ahead? With that thought coursing through her, she drove away from the hospital, a new energy settling in her bones. Little did she know, her resolve would soon be tested in ways she could never imagine. Jenna awoke the next morning with an electric pulse in her veins. Light streamed through her curtains, illuminating the room and casting a gentle glow on her unease. Today would be different, she could feel it. After her conversation with Mia, she realized that taking risks was part of building something meaningful. She dressed quickly, slipping into a pair of jeans and a teal blouse that made her feel brighter, like the sun creeping through her windows. As she made her way to the Olive Branch Cafe, she rehearsed what she might say to the chef. Would he be charismatic and full of ideas? Or would he make her doubt herself even more? The cafe was bustling when she arrived. Clay-colored walls framed wooden tables, each occupied by patrons enjoying coffee and conversation. The delicious aroma of fresh brewed coffee and pastries filled the air, reviving her spirits as she scanned the room for the chef. It didn't take long. Nearly 6 feet tall, with a mane of dark, curly hair and a warm smile, he caught her eye as he waved. Jenna's heart raced. He might hold the key to transforming her vision into reality. Jenna! So glad you made it, he said, extending a hand. I'm Marco. Hi, Marco. Thanks for meeting with me. Jenna smiled back, her nerves settling a little under the inviting energy he radiated. They settled at a small table by the window, the sun casting a golden light on them. I've heard a lot about you and your plans for the health fair, Marco began, enthusiasm evident in his voice. I really think we can create something incredible together. As Jenna shared her ideas, she felt the walls of doubt begin to crumble. Marco bounced ideas off her with a contagious zeal, and she soon found herself laughing and brainstorming as if they were old friends. For the first time in months, the heaviness that had built up inside her started to lift. Now about my proposal, Marco said, leaning in a little closer. I want to get involved, not just to help out, but to make sure we can create a cooking demonstration that highlights healthy recipes for the community. But here's the big part. I'd like to bring in local chefs and collaborate with some restaurants. This can be a real celebration of good health and good food. Jenna's heart raced. The thought of it was exhilarating. That's fantastic. But I'm worried about funding. We'll get sponsors, Marco replied with confidence. You already have that network from your job, right? Plus, with our combined outreach, I bet we can get local businesses on board. Hope surged within her, a feeling that grew stronger with each passing moment. They sketched plans and ideas on napkins, laughing and imagining the community gathering, tents filled with fresh produce, engaging workshops, and chefs whipping up healthy dishes. But as enthusiasm bubbled, a familiar shadow flickered through Jenna's mind. What if it all falls apart? She blurted. What if no one shows up? Marco paused, then replied, what if people do show up? What if they connect with each other and learn something that changes their lives? You need to focus on what could happen, not what might fail. His words sank deep, mixing with the hope that had begun to bubble within her. Somehow, she felt lighter, as if she could carry the weight of something bigger now. Just as they were wrapping up their meeting, Jenna's phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen, and her stomach dropped. There was a text from her boss, one she had dreaded ever since the meeting yesterday. "We need to discuss your position." The anxiety that had begun to fade reared back, but this time Jenna held on to the spark ignited by Marco. Taking a breath, she looked into his eyes. "I can't back down now. I need to write back." Marco grinned. "That's the spirit. Let's turn this into a reality." But as Jenna stared at her phone, the weight of her decision loomed larger than before. Could she really take that leap? Or would this moment be just another in a long line of disappointments? The tension wrapped around her like a heavy cloak. How would she balance her job uncertainty with her dreams of change? With her heart pounding, Jenna hit send on a message that could change everything, setting her course for an uncertain but hopeful future. Would this one step lead her to the fortune of community she longed for, or would it pull her deeper into anxiety? Only time would tell. The phone slipped from Jenna's hand, landing softly on the table as her mind raced. She and Marco shared an excited glance, both still buzzing from their meeting. "What did your boss say?" he asked, his eyes narrowing slightly as if trying to gauge her reaction. "Just that we need to talk," Jenna replied, shoving her phone back into her pocket. She felt like a tightrope walker teetering between fear and excitement. "It could be bad, Marco. I mean, what if they cut my hours or let me go?" Marco shook his head, determined. "You've got big plans. You can't let that stop you. You're doing something important." His encouragement wrapped around her like a warm blanket. He reached for a napkin, jotting down notes as he spoke. "We need a list of potential sponsors. Let's brainstorm tonight. I'll draw up a proposal that really sells our vision." Seeing her bright eyes, he smiled. "With you leading, this community health fair can be a game changer." Jenna hardly heard him. Her thoughts spun wildly around the uncertainty of her job while clashing with the thrill of their project. Instead, she stared out the cafe window, taking in the gentle rhythm of life outside. People walked by, some in pairs, some alone, each lost in their world. They seemed so sure and confident, and for a moment, she longed to be part of that ease. "Jenna?" Marco's voice pulled her back. "What's on your mind?" "I'm just," she hesitated, her voice wavering. "What if I really can't pull this off? What if I fail at both my job and this project?" His expression softened. "Failures are part of every success. You're stronger than you think. You've spent years helping others in your nursing career. You know how to keep going even when it gets tough." His words hit her heart like a gentle drumbeat, steady and soothing. Breathing deeply, Jenna realized she was at a crossroads. An urge to fight against her fears ignited within her. "Maybe I can handle both, or at least try." "Yes!" Marco exclaimed, his eyes shining. "Unless you don't want to be the superstar nurse who saves the day? Fine, fine. You win." But also she put her hands up, trying to hide her smile. "I will need your help." "Deal." He smirked, holding out a fist. They bumped fists, and just like that, Jenna felt a surge of camaraderie. It was as if they were now a team, ready to tackle anything that came their way. As they exited the cafe, the day felt brighter, full of promise. The laughter of children and the buzz of the cafe mellowed into the background, but a quiet determination whispered in her heart. She had taken a risk, and it was starting to feel right. But just as the vibrant energy filled her anew, her phone buzzed again. This time, she didn't ignore it. Glancing at the screen, Jenna felt her heart drop once more. A new message from her boss: "Can we meet today at 3?" The shadows returned briefly but were quickly pushed back by the light shining from her recently rekindled hope. "I have to get ready for this meeting, Marco. Let's make a plan first," he said, glancing at his watch. "How about we grab dinner later to celebrate?" Her heart swelled. This was more than just a project now. It was a friendship that felt as crucial as the work they were doing together. Dinner sounds perfect. As they parted ways, Jenna walked toward her car, every step feeling a bit more confident. Yet, uncertainty gnawed at her again. She was walking into that meeting with her boss, and she had no idea what to expect. Could whatever news she received shape her plans for the fair? The time drew closer, and her pulse quickened. "It's just a meeting," she whispered to herself. "You can do this. You've been through so much worse." But deep down, anxiety clawed at her. What awaited her on the other side of that door would change everything. Would she find clarity, or a crossroads, a choice that would define her future? The clock ticked loudly in Jenna's ears as she approached the office door. Each step felt heavier than the last. She touched the cold metal handle, steeling herself for whatever awaited her inside. The fluorescent lights flickered above her, adding to the anxious energy that coursed through her. She opened the door, and her boss, Linda, greeted her with a neutral expression that did little to ease her tension. "Thanks for coming, Jenna. Please have a seat." Taking a deep breath, Jenna sat down, her palms slick against the cool surface of the table. "You wanted to talk?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Linda nodded, folding her hands in front of her. "I wanted to discuss your schedule. We appreciate your hard work, but some adjustments need to be made. Due to budget cuts, we're reducing the number of hours available." Jenna felt a cold rush wash over her, squeezing her heart. "How many hours? Am I at risk of losing my job completely?" Linda's gaze softened. "It's not that dire, but it will affect your weeks significantly. I want to ensure you're still on board with your project. Your community health fair is important, and I want to support you in that, even with your reduced hours." Jenna's heartbeat quickened. This was the moment she had feared, yet a part of her felt a strange sense of relief. She had potential to focus on the fair and channel her energy where she could make a difference. "I understand," Jenna replied, forcing a brave smile. "If that means I can still work on the fair, then I'll take it." Linda leaned forward, her tone shifting to one of encouragement. "You have a vision, Jenna. Don't let this discourage you. Sometimes, these changes can lead to unexpected opportunities." "Thank you," Jenna said, her heart swelling. She left the office with a mixed bag of emotions, apprehensive but also with a flicker of hope igniting within her. As she stepped outside, the sun felt brighter, illuminating the path ahead. She remembered Marco's words from earlier, the notion of pushing through despite uncertainties. She had her answer now. The fair could be her stepping stone. Jenna drove home, a surge of determination coursing through her. Her phone buzzed, cutting through her thoughts. Marco wanted to know how the meeting went. "Can we meet later? I have some good ideas for sponsors," he texted. She grinned, excited. "I got the news, reduced hours. But it opens up more time for the fair. Let us get dinner and plan everything." Her fingers flew over the screen as she sent her response. A part of her felt lighter already. The weight of fear was shifting. After a quick dinner at home, Jenna freshened up and headed to meet Marco. The ambience of the restaurant buzzed with laughter and voices, a vibrant contrast to her earlier mood. Marco was already there, enthusiasm radiating from him. "What did they say?" he asked, eyes brimming with excitement. "I still have a job, but it's going to be part-time now. I'll also have time for the fair," she replied, allowing herself to think of all the possibilities. "I knew you could do it. Now let us make this fair happen." As they dove into ideas and sketches, Jenna realized this was not just about the fair or her job anymore. It was about seizing a moment, a chance for something bigger. She felt their dreams aligning, and laughter flowed between them, filling the air with electric energy. But then, the unexpected ding of her phone sent a shiver down her spine again. A surprise message buzzed through, one that made her heart stop. "Jenna, we need to talk after your meeting. It's important." Who could it be, and what was so urgent? Panic crept back in. With her excitement waning, Jenna glanced at Marco, who seemed blissfully unaware, deeply engrossed in their planning. The feeling that a storm was brewing hung heavy in the air, leaving Jenna wondering what could change her path again. Jenna's heart raced as she stared at the screen. The message loomed larger than life, stirring up a whirlpool of unease within her. Who could possibly need to talk? Why now? She fought to maintain her composure, stealing glances at Marco, who was sketching out potential ideas for the fair, oblivious to the storm brewing inside her. Everything okay? Marco's voice broke through her spiraling thoughts, pulling her back to the buzz of the restaurant. She forced a smile, although it felt fragile, like a thin layer of ice beneath her feet. Yeah, just she hesitated. A text from a friend. Nothing serious. Jenna quickly redirected her energy. Let us focus on the fair. She dove back into their conversation, and for a while, the excitement of planning, the promise of making a difference in the community, pushed the anxiety to the back of her mind. Ideas flowed between them like a vibrant current, spelling out themes, potential guests, and ways to engage the local community. Hours later, they left the restaurant, a stack of napkin sketches crammed in Jenna's purse and laughter bubbling in the air. But as they headed toward their cars, the tension returned, tugging at her heart. What did the text mean? Hey, Marco said, sensing mood shift. Are you sure you're okay? We can talk about anything, you know. Jenna nodded, masking the turmoil. I'm just tired from everything. A long day, you know? The familiar excuse felt heavy on her lips. I understand. Let us get some coffee tomorrow, he suggested, his concern genuine. Jenna appreciated his kindness, but the thought of explaining her worries made her stomach churn. Yeah, sounds great, she replied. With a quick hug, they parted ways, and she couldn't shake the weight of uncertainty trailing behind her. At home, Jenna dropped her bag and sank into the couch, staring up at the ceiling. She reached for her phone, fingers hovering over the text. Part of her wanted to ignore it, let it remain a mystery. Yet, a deeper instinct pushed her to confront whatever was being held back. With a sigh, she tapped the screen, opening the message. Her heart pounded as she typed back, "What is it about? You sounded urgent." For a long moment, as she waited, every second felt stretched. Finally, the reply came. Can we meet tomorrow? I really need to talk. No indication of what was coming. Just a heavy cloud of uncertainty hanging in the air. As she lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, sleep eluded her. The mix of excitement and dread twisted within her. Tomorrow held unforeseen revelations, and Jenna wondered if it would be the breakthrough she desperately needed or another weight to add to her already heavy heart. Morning arrived with golden light spilling through her window, yet Jenna felt the same knot in her stomach. After a hurried breakfast, she made her way to the small cafe where they agreed to meet. As she walked in, the scent of fresh coffee and pastries wafted through the air, but all she could think about was the conversation ahead. She scanned the room, heart racing as she finally spotted Chloe, the friend who had sent the troubling text. Chloe was seated in a corner booth, running her fingers nervously through her hair. Jenna's heart sank. She could sense that Chloe was anxious. Hey, Jenna said, sliding into the booth. What's going on? Chloe's eyes flickered with worry. I didn't want to drop this on you through text, but I found out something important. It's about your health fair. Jenna's breath caught in her throat. What do you mean? The words hung in the air, heavy and thick. There was no turning back. Jenna was braced for news that could shift everything, and her world felt poised on the edge of a cliff. Jenna, I think you need to know. And in that moment, as the cafe's sounds faded into a distant hum, Jenna realized that whatever was coming could change everything she had just started to build. What was Chloe about to reveal? Chloe took a deep breath, her hands fidgeting with the edge of her coffee cup. Jenna leaned in, hanging on each silent moment that passed between them. She could feel the weight of Chloe's words pressing down harder than the morning's shadows. Jenna, I found out that one of the vendors you're planning to work with, the health clinic on Franklin Street, they're facing some issues. Like serious financial trouble. If you hold the fair there, it might not even happen. Chloe's voice trembled, the urgency evident in her tone. Jenna's stomach dropped. What? But we need their resources. They're integral to the fair and getting health screenings in the community. Panic laced her words. Chloe nodded, her eyes filled with empathy. Exactly. And the clinic's director, Dr. Roberts, reached out to me. He is afraid that without immediate support, they might close their doors for good. I thought you should know. Is there any way we could help them raise funds? A myriad of thoughts flooded Jenna's mind, colliding with each other like chaotic waves. The fair was supposed to be a beacon of hope. How could it shine if the very place meant to support it was crumbling? She took a deep breath, trying to gather her thoughts. I was just starting to feel like this was going to make a difference, she said, her voice cracking slightly. How can I even begin to help raise funds? I'm not a fundraiser. What if you turn the health fair into a full-blown event? Chloe suggested, the light of inspiration glinting back into her eyes. We could sell tickets, invite local businesses to donate prizes. It could be a whole community initiative. Yeah, but what if no one shows up? What if we end up raising next to nothing? The shadows of doubt crept in, clouding her optimistic vision. Jenna, Chloe said firmly. You've already brought together spirit and volunteers. You can do this. You've created excitement around the fair, and if we pour our hearts into it, people will show up. They care about our community. Something fierce ignited within Jenna. She thought about the people they aimed to help, the services they could provide. Perhaps it was more than just another event. It was about health and lives at stake. Okay, she said, determination creeping back. You're right. But we need a plan, and we need it fast. Chloe nodded enthusiastically. Let us brainstorm. And maybe reach out to some businesses. Do you think Marco could help? The thought of Marco brought a blush to Jenna's cheeks. He had always been her confidant, and his ideas sparked the community's interest. Definitely. And I can talk to Dr. Roberts too, Jenna replied, feeling the adrenaline rush through her veins. Suddenly, the cafe around them came back to life. The sound of laughter, clinking dishes, and the aroma of brewing coffee swelled. But in that booth, they were cocooned in a surge of purpose. As their plans began to unfold, Jenna felt a sense of focus taking hold. But just as the phone buzzed with a new notification, a wave of unease washed over her again. Expecting it to be Marco, she felt a tingle of dread as she glanced at the screen. It was another message from Chloe, but it didn't feel right. We need to talk. There's something else. What else could it be? Jenna wondered, her heart racing as they both exchanged glances filled with uncertainty. Before she knew it, Jenna felt her phone slipping through her fingers. What revelation could shadow their newfound hope? Would there be another barrier standing in her way? Her pulse quickened, the fate of the fair hanging in the balance. What was Chloe about to reveal this time, right when she thought everything was finally coming together? Jenna could hardly breathe as she stared at the screen, her heart beating furiously against her ribcage. Chloe's apprehensive expression mirrored Jenna's unease, both women feeling the weight of unanswered questions hanging between them. Chloe? Jenna prompted, her voice shaking. What else is there? Chloe's gaze dropped, fumbling a moment as if searching for the right words. I saw something about the clinic when I was researching grants. The funding situation is worse than I thought. If they don't receive immediate aid, they might end up shuttering their doors completely. The reality of Chloe's words landed like a stone in Jenna's stomach. The weight of the community fair she had envisioned suddenly felt crushing. This wasn't just an event anymore. It could be a lifeline for families who needed health services, and the very heart of her plans was on the verge of collapsing. Okay, Jenna stammered, her mind racing. What if we reach directly to people who've supported us before? Maybe there's a way to rally them behind the clinic. She straightened up, determination flooding her senses. We can't let this place close. We have to fight for it. Chloe nodded, her eyes shining with a determination Jenna had come to admire. Yes. Let us make it part of the fair. A fundraising drive specifically to save them. We can get local businesses to spotlight their contributions at the fair. Jenna felt a flicker of hope growing. This isn't just a health fair anymore, it's a mission. We'll raise funds and awareness. If we tie our goals to the needs of the community, people will respond. As they brainstormed, Ideas sparked between them, silent promises exchanged through excited gestures and animated voices. They envisioned selling tickets, securing sponsorships from local businesses, and setting up donation stations, each detail contributing to the larger vision. A vision that was becoming clearer and more powerful with each passing second. But as they dove into the details, Jenna's phone buzzed again, revealing another text, this time from Marco. "I hope you're ready for tonight's meeting because we're aiming to make a big impact." Her heart fluttered. Maybe they could all create something monumental together. That evening, surrounded by supportive friends and caring faces at the Olive Branch Cafe, Jenna and Chloe outlined their plans for the health fair. Marco arrived with excitement buzzing in the air. "You should see the list of sponsors I've reached out to. Everyone is pumped," he exclaimed, eager to share in their vision. "Marco, we're shifting the focus," Jenna said, brimming with excitement. "It's not just about health screenings anymore. We're linking it to saving the clinic. We need the community on board." His eyes widened. "That's brilliant, Jenna. We make it a cause." As the hours slipped by, fueled by coffee and dreams, Jenna felt something shift within her, an unwavering belief that they were on the brink of creating something true and meaningful. The day of the health fair dawned bright and clear, with an electric buzz reverberating in the air. Jenna prepared with a flurry of anticipation, and she could feel her heart beating rhythmically, like a drum urging her forward. Her friends arrived early, bustling through setup with smiles and laughter, energy radiating between them. As people trickled into the fair, Jenna felt an overwhelming sense of purpose. Her eyes scanned the tables, taking in the local businesses showcasing their products, health practitioners ready to offer advice, all of this coming together for a singular cause. The community had rallied, just as she had hoped. "Look at this turnout!" Marco exclaimed, an arm slung around her shoulder. "You're changing lives today." The atmosphere thrummed with laughter and camaraderie. Jenna watched families engage, children darting from one activity to another. She stood in the center of it all, her heart full. But even amidst the joy, she felt a gentle tug at the edges of her thoughts, the ever-present worry regarding the clinic's future. As afternoon unfolded, Jenna summoned her courage to speak to the crowd. With her heart pounding and her hands trembling slightly, she took the microphone. "Thank you for coming together today. We're here not only for better health but also to strengthen our community. The clinic on Franklin Street needs our support." Every word ignited passion, each phrase connecting back to the mission they had banded together for. "Together, we can ensure every person in this town has access to crucial health services." The crowd erupted in cheers, and in that vibrant moment, Jenna knew they were all in this together. The fair ended with laughter, friendships formed, and a sense of pride threaded through each person present. As the sun set, casting a golden glow over Maple Grove, donations were counted, more than enough to bolster the clinic's finances and reignite hope in a community that had never stopped believing in each other. Jenna stood, overwhelmed with gratitude and joy, her eyes scanning the crowd, landing on familiar faces, friends, families, the very people she had worked so hard for. Tears pricked at her eyes, joyful now, knowing she had woven a safety net of love and support for others. With purpose renewed, Jenna felt ready. She had faced turbulence and uncertainty but had come through on the other side, transformed by love and community bonds. She couldn't understand everything in that moment, but she embraced it all. Tonight wasn't just about a fair or fundraiser. This was a celebration of resilience, connection, and the unwavering support of a community that had brought her back to life. As the last of the crowd dissipated, Marco sidled up beside her, a radiant smile spread across his face. "You did it, Jenna. Together we did it." With a heart fully alive, Jenna looked out at the horizon of hopes fulfilled and lives changed, and she realized that she had found her fortune not in wealth, but woven in the love and kindness shared among her neighbors. This moment was theirs and everyone around her, the true testament of what it meant to live for each other. In Maple Grove, they had roots, community, dreams realized, and a future bright ahead. If you felt the fire of community spirit reflected in Jenna's journey today, then it's time to take action. You need to subscribe now to never miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now because every click feeds this beautiful algorithm and helps spread the message of hope. Comment your thoughts and feelings about this riveting journey of resilience, transformation, and community love. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this amazing transformation. Remember, only true fans understand the importance of supporting our channel by doing just that. Let us keep the love and inspiration flowing together.